Hello, hello, and happy Friday to you. Wow, the last day before the Christmas weekend here. I hope that you're having a great day. I'm excited to join you today. And if you're joining me on the replay, of course, happy replay day to you. But if you're joining me live, welcome to today's live level up conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market updates. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, hello. I see Carlos joining us on YouTube Live. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us. And I see so many of you joining on all the different platforms. Welcome to the show. That's right, Friday before the big holiday season here. I know many of you are probably getting excited and maybe looking forward to getting off of work here. But those of you joining me live, thanks so much for doing so. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC Council member, and award-winning financial pro, here to keep you on top of all things trending, relevant business news. And of course, just because the holidays are upon us doesn't mean there's still lots of things to discuss. But what makes this show really fun, of course, is that you're part of our discussion. We are absolutely live. We're live on, I think, about 8 different social media platforms here. So wherever you're joining us from, don't be shy. Let me know how you're doing. And maybe what you're looking forward to the holidays, and of course how you're feeling overall, and maybe if there's something that sparked your interest as we go into this very fun holiday season, do share. I'd love to hear. Now let's start, of course, and how we always do is talk about how the market closed. And in fact, I actually have pretty good news for you, because had I come live to you earlier this week, may not have been as good of a day as we're seeing today. In fact, the market closed on a triple update. Perfect. Is this a Santa Claus rally? I'm not sure, but we'll take it. The Dow closed up 174 points today. Nasdaq up 21, and the S&P 500 also up 22 points. So for those of you who are about to take a look at your 401k and see how you've done for the year, we're going to need days like this. We're hoping for a few more days like this. But there's other news that maybe hasn't hit your radar, but should, because believe it or not, we just all spent $1.7 trillion. That's right. So the U.S. House passes, following the Senate, of course. It's one of its biggest spending bills ever, funding the U.S. federal government for the rest of the fiscal year through September. So at least the government won't be shutting down, because as you know, this seems to happen every few years where we're just about to run out of money. The government's about to shut down and it gets saved. And certainly it seemed to get saved right at the last moment here. So President Joe Biden is expected to sign this into law very, very quickly here. Now, this is going to provide a lot of money to a lot of people in a lot of different areas. Namely, some of the big ones include $772.5 billion for non-defense discretionary programs, and another $858 billion in defense funding. Now, many of you probably saw the president of Ukraine on air just recently, coming and visiting the United States here. Well, the Ukraine is going to be receiving another almost $45 billion of assistance. And of course, we're also earmarking about $40 billion for natural disaster recovery here. What's interesting is, it seems like everything in the kitchen sink was added into this bill, because in it, if you read a little bit more carefully, you also saw that it also bans the use of TikTok on government devices, including another $1 billion will be going to aiding poor countries who are struggling with climate change. And get this. This is the part that I'm really excited to share with you. It's also going to make our jobs as Americans saving for retirement maybe just a little bit easier. Huh. Well, I'm sure you're excited to hear about that. But before we get there, I want to say a big hello to Robin Stevens joining us on LinkedIn Live. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I see Gilbert joining us on LinkedIn Live. Thanks so much for being here. And of course, Sadiq, couldn't have live stream without you. Also, my friend joining us here on LinkedIn Live. Thank you so much for being here. And Sadiq, by the way, thank you so much for sending me that message on LinkedIn. Very, very good information. Definitely going to check that out on Twitter Blue, I think it was. So definitely going to check that out as I get through the holiday season here. But let's talk about this, okay? I feel like if you were when we talk about this big huge amount of spending that's occurring here in the United States, it's signing, it's protecting the government from shutting down, but there's actually even more. Okay, there's something called the Secure Act 2.0. Now, what is the Secure Act 2.0? It's important because if you're like a financial geek like I am, you want to know, what is it that this really, really means? How is it going to affect me? How is it going to affect the people in my life, the people that I consult with? Like, what do we need to know ahead of time? Well, I read this in some detail, right? So I can go ahead and share some of this information with you. Well, this omnibus spending bill for 2023 is going to include a lot of changes to how you currently save for retirement. They're going to be calling this new bill the Secure Act of 2022, Secure 2.0. In fact, right? Taking over, of course, the last one. I think the last one was a few years back. But this new one is basically going to allow you to save more towards your retirement. I kind of coin it as, you really should save. There's going to be less excuses for you not to save. And we're not telling you should save, but we're going to give you incentives and encourage you to save. So what's the government really saying? The government is really saying that we really need to save more, that Americans really need to save more for a lot of financial reasons, health reasons, and everything in between, because this is one big change. This is, having been in the financial industry now for over 20 years, this is the first time where I actually feel like they literally threw everything and the bus towards us saving for retirement. Now, I see Vicky joining us on Facebook Live. Vicky, thanks so much for joining us here. It's great to see you as well. Maybe you'll see this on your side of the pond in the UK as well. But here's the deal. So many changes are occurring, my friends. And a lot of them are starting, in fact, January of 2023. You're going to be able to start to save more money, especially those of you who are over the age of 60. So you know how you can put more money into your 401k, right? Or your IRA or your Roth IRA when you turn 50 years old. There's that catch-up provision. Well, now I call it the hyper catch-up provision, because now once you reach the age of 60, you can put away a lot more money into your retirement accounts. So let's talk about this a little bit, right? So not only are they looking for seniors to save more, but don't worry, they got you covered too. For those of you who are younger and maybe dealing with things such as student loans still, well, guess what? This new thing starting for next year as well is going to give basically an option in the 401k, 403b, simple IRAs, and even in government 457 plans, where those of you who are saving and putting and paying off your student loans, well, you could continue to do that. And yet your company could also help you and save some towards your retirement as well, into your retirement plan contributions. So a lot of things going on. Of course, a lot of it's going to be fleshed out even more. I'm actually preparing a lot more content, and I'm going to kick off 2023 with a whole bunch of corporate speaking and company speaking and employee speaking on how this is going to relate to you. So definitely want to stay close. And if you are watching and you work at a company or you represent a company and you're thinking this is information that you and your employees or you and your colleagues would love to hear about, do reach out, because we are actively setting up speaking events starting in January. And so we're going to do a lot of that and flush this out so that way you can get a head start on your retirement savings as soon as we get done with the holidays here. Okay. So, like I said, tell me I need to save more without really telling me I need to save more. This is what I coined the Secure Act of 2.0 here. How are retirement accounts going to change? Well, of course, the catch-up provision we talked about. So those of you who are over 50 years old, you're going to get an additional potential catch-up contribution. Of course, when you turn over the age of 60, you get the hyper boost. You can put away way more at that point, up to $10,000 per year, or 50%, whichever is greater than sort of that regular standard catch-up contribution that those who are over the age of 50 get to do. But wait, There's more. There's always more. And this part, let me just tell you, makes my financial geeky heart very, very happy. You may have seen me share about this earlier on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'm at hashtag Winnie or hashtag Winnie Sun or at Winnie Sun on Twitter. But this made me really, really happy. Now, this is proposed legislation. Now, Congress is planning to amend the IRS laws as it relates to 529 college savings plans. Now, many of you might not have kids, or maybe you do have kids like me, or maybe you're like, I don't know, I never even had a 529 college savings plan. Why is this important? It's actually very, very important. And the reason that is because some of you know that I had to financially struggle through college, right? My parents actually went bankrupt literally months before I started college. So college savings was something that we didn't have a lot of. And so as someone who is a financial professional now, I talk a lot about the importance of college savings. And the 529 college savings plan is one of my favorite ways to utilize and have parents and grandparents save for kids' college education. Well, a lot of times I'll have people say, well, what if we don't use the money for college, right? What if they don't need it? What if they get a full scholarship? What if they go to less expensive college? What happens to the money now? Well, typically, what would happen is the profit that you make on that account, when you take it out, you would have a 10% penalty if it wasn't used for higher education costs. And let's not even forget, in some states, you also have to pay taxes on that money, on the gains, right? Well, with this new proposed legislation, my friends, this was what's really cool. You actually might be able to get this roll over up to $35,000 from your 529 plan into a Roth IRA. This is a beneficiary. So let's say, for example, I have this set up for my son, and my son doesn't need all the money. He could roll it into his Roth IRA up to 35,000. That's incredible. Now, of course, he would do it, over a series of years because there's going to be contribution limits. And then as we learn more about this and this all, ends up being firmly decided on, I'll definitely share more information on this and maybe some strategies and some things to think about. But let me tell you, that makes me really excited. That to me is awesome because I think this is going to be what it's going to take to encourage more parents who are in a position to save to actually take that move and make that decision to save. Now there's going to be obviously some requirements and some other terms in order to have this benefit, and we're going to flesh all that out in the next few months. But I just thought I would share this with you because this is actually pretty big news. So you'll be able to do a tax-free rollover from a 529 to a Roth IRA. And as you know, if you watch the show, you know how much I love Roth IRAs. They are absolutely my favorite account. So super, super excited. Okay. And so this is going to be pretty cool. There's going to be a lot of different changes, more things coming in terms of company plans. And there's like in this passing, there's also more benefits for working mothers or people who are working and who get pregnant and having benefits there. So a lot of things. It's like literally like I just can't believe they actually got this passed so quickly. Knowing the history of our government, things don't normally move this quickly. But yes, I guess when it comes to spending $1.7 trillion, we can act pretty quickly. Who knows? Who knows? I was sort of disappointed because I didn't see a lot of information of obviously renewing some spending towards testing and pandemic relief and tridemic relief and things like that, but maybe they're going to work on that as well. We're going to flesh out as well. Now, of course, we know this is a short sweet show because it's on Friday. We're going into the holidays. I would remiss if I didn't tell you this. Now, let's get to a Santa update. Now, I hope, of course, that you all planned ahead and you planned early, so this isn't going to affect you so much, and that Santa is all ready to put the gifts under the holiday tree this year, or if you're celebrating your any other holiday, if you have all your shipments in order, awesome. Because if not, let's just say some people might be a little disappointed this year because unfortunately the US Postal Service, FedEx, Amazon, UPS, you name it, those people who are sending and moving packages, hardworking people all across the world sending us packages, unfortunately, a lot of them are being impacted with pretty difficult weather. Now, my good friend and co-host on In the Loop, Greg, Well, you may have noticed we didn't do a show this week. And the reason is because Greg is unfortunately dealing with some pretty harsh weather in his zip code. And I know many of you, maybe depending on where you're joining me from, maybe having some difficult times as well. But yes, that's absolutely impacting the final delivery days as we get towards Christmas. So if you didn't know already, if you're waiting for that package to arrive, it may not arrive on time. So Santa Claus is out there. You might want to plan a plan B. I got a plan B idea for you here right now. Of course, this is level up. That's what we do. We have to help you level up, right? Even your Santa duties. Well, here's a suggestion. What you could do is you could actually have Santa write a letter to your little ones explaining that this year they were such a great child and they did so well in school if they did, and so therefore you thought it would be a good exercise for Santa to maybe give a little money to your child to discuss with the parents on what they should buy themselves. It could be a financial literacy experience. You can discuss budgeting and what to buy and what not to buy, needs versus wants, saving, giving to those who are less fortunate. You can have that conversation together. It could be a holiday gift that continues to keep giving. And then maybe then when the gift arrives, that might be the one that the two of you settle on. And then that could be your holiday gift this year if your present doesn't arrive on time. So thank you so much, Carlos. I'm so glad you were able to join us. And of course, Josephine, thank you so much for joining us on LinkedIn Live as well. Such a treat. But yeah, just so you know, a lot of deliveries, FedEx is already warning of significant delays, as well as UPS and many other places. But a huge happy holidays to all of you. I couldn't go into the holidays without saying how much I truly, truly appreciate you and everything that you do for us all year long. Thank you so much for all your support. Level Up, the Level Up Live family here. We appreciate you so much. Huge thanks and love to my friends at NASDAQ, which, as you know, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Roku, Samsung, and a lot of other places. And of course, don't forget to check out Yes Factor also, which is our Apple podcast, which is our podcast. And that's Yes Factor with Winnie Sun as well. If you could do me a favor, I would appreciate it, especially this holiday season. If you could just take a moment to like this stream and consider subscribing so that you'll never miss a live stream and future upload. And with that, thank you. Be well. Stay safe. Hug your loved ones. Lots and lots for me. Tell them I say hello. Tell them how much I appreciate you and all that you do for me. So with that, be well. And I can't wait to see you again next week. Happy holidays. Take care now. Bye-bye.